So I was at the grocery store earlier today and I stumbled across these Hostess Coffee Cakes. Now, I used to eat these all the time as a kid, and I figured, why not give them a try again, see what they're like. So, opened one up, I took a bite, and to my surprise, they're pretty much exactly the same as they've always been. I got this like wave of nostalgia that hit me, like waking up early on a Saturday morning, watching cartoons. My parents were too lazy to make breakfast, so they threw one of these at me with a glass of milk. And I'm gonna tell you, I wanna know if I can take this idea and recreate this at home and get that same kind of feeling and nostalgia that I get out of eating this one that's prepackaged. Because my guess is this is probably full of a bunch of preservatives and things that probably aren't good for me. And I'd rather have that feeling without feeling guilty about eating it. The recipe breakdown for this is actually in the description below, so if you want to check that out, you can. So I wanted to start here by making the crumble topping. This is a pretty standard brown sugar with granulated sugar, cinnamon, butter, pinch of salt. It's your typical coffee cake crumble topping. Because I went through this recipe without even looking at anything. I just kind of looked at what Hostess had, and I'm trying to copy that to my own thought process, my own imagination. Very little research, just kind of going off instinct. Okay, so now that we have our topping kind of done, as you can see here, this is more like a crumbly topping. It's more of a, you know, what you would consider to be a traditional style topping for a coffee cake. But this one is actually kind of more just sugar granulated on top. So I'm going to try and see if I can match this texture, because I think that's an important part of making sure I get that same feeling out of this. So now that we have this done, we're going to go ahead and move to our batter. Our batter consists of your typical ingredients. You've got all-purpose flour, baking powder, salt, room temperature butter, sugar, 2 eggs, some whole milk, vanilla extract, all that beaten together into what looks like something consistent of like a pancake batter. Nothing crazy here, nothing out of the ordinary. Like I said, just trying to work off my own imagination, my own experiences to try and get this as close as I can to what I think is a Hostess coffee cake. So here is what our dough looks like. As you can see, it's a pretty wet dough, but we wanted to make sure it was smooth throughout. That way we have a consistent bake. And out of pure laziness, I'm gonna go ahead and spray my baking sheet here with some butter spray. This is a lot faster. And I got a little scoop here that I'm gonna use to scoop our batter into our baking sheet here. So let's go ahead and fill up this baking sheet. Okay, so as you can see, I got 9 total here out of my batch. So I want to try and test this out in 3 different methods. I don't know if it's baked with the crumble topping on top like a normal coffee cake, or if it is different layers of timing of when it gets put on. So what I want to do here is I'm going to top these 3 with my crumble, and I'm going to bake it in the oven and let that go for the full amount of time. This one, after about halfway done baking, I'm then going to top that one with the top of the crumble and let to see what that one looks like. And this one I'm going to bake all the way through, and when it's done, I'm going to top it with a little bit of butter and dip it in my topping. Just so I can kind of get a gauge of the difference in textures and what we're looking for to match what Hostess has on theirs. Okay, so all in all, I'm going to say that so far, visually, this is not what I was going for. I mean, I'm not expecting to be perfectly on that. It's hard to do that with a standard oven and just a muffin tin here, but I'll go ahead and taste these, see what we got. But flavor-wise, we're there, right? Taste and the texture don't quite line up. So Flavor-wise, it's good. It hits all the same notes and elements, but this one's a little bit more dried out. Definitely has a harder edge. So, try this one too. See if we got kind of something similar. Yeah. Those two, if you were blindfolded and you were to taste each one, those would pretty much register the same thing in your mind probably. So let's go ahead and try this one, see if it's any different. Not really expecting it to be, but. Nope. I would say the difference in taste between the three is this one has a lot more of that cooked sugar flavor, obviously, and these have more of that more raw sugar flavor. But this isn't exactly what I was going for. Definitely learned a lot here. We nailed the taste, okay? So taste-wise, I think we're there. I think the ingredients and everything that's in this really reminds me of the same kind of flavor as what you would get in Hostess, but it's just the texture. I gotta get back to the drawing board and see if we can figure out the texture. So it's a new day. We decided that after our first failure, we should probably go ahead and do a little bit more research. So essentially what Hostess does is they bake each one of these coffee cakes in their own individual tins. They have batter first, a line of streusel that goes down the middle, and then batter that goes on top, and then they bake it for some amount of time at some temperature, and then after it comes out, they flip them over, and then they get their topping after the fact. So, I think what we have to do is we have to make our toppings separate and see if we can get a little bit closer to exactly what they do. So now it's time for round 2. If you're a parent with kids, please let them get involved in the kitchen. It is a skill that is essential in life to know how to cook, and the younger you can get them started, the better, especially if they show interest. So this is me and my kids doing a little cooking. So we're gonna make a mixture in here, okay? Okay. So I'm gonna get this real quick.
And he's gonna do it all with it. But if it's big, then I have to.
Okay. You're gonna dump that in the bowl, okay? Dump it in.
The whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing. Dump it.
All
Good job.
You mean all of it?
Yeah, all of it. That's all. Okay. Now.
So you have to poof it out.
Do this.
So can he do that?
This one will be Austin.
I was gonna let him go. Austin, you're gonna do that part.
Okay, Austin.
But I'm gonna help you.
Here you go.
Then he'll go.
Hold on. Let go, Britt. Let him do it. Let Austin do it. Get this way. Yep. Dump it over. Good job.
You mean the whole thing?
Yes, the whole thing. Okay.
I like it.
I'm gonna do this one. Okay.
So can I do that?
I'm gonna do this one. Just a little bit of salt.
Okay.
And
I can do that.
we're gonna do.
Can I do that?
I'm gonna let Austin do this one because you're gonna mix it. Okay?
Okay.
Austin.
Because this is little.
Grab a hold of it, Austin. Dump it in there. Dump it in there.
Oh!
Oh!
Okay, I
It's okay. That's okay. Let me see.
It's some on the table.
Yeah, it is. But we'll just mix that a little bit. There we go.
How about...
Okay. Now. Hold on, no. Leave it, Austin. Leave it alone. Hold on, Austin.
Yes,
Take this.
I got it.
Hold the bowl. Hold the bowl. Yes. Give me your hand. Give me your hand, Austin. Put your hand out. I think we got it. What do you think?
Good.
Good? Alright, high five. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Good job, Austin. I apologize, guys. I thought I was recording, but apparently I run out of storage, so I'm missing all the recording of everything I just did. But just to kind of recap, I took this, I flipped it over upside down, I cut the whole thing into sections, then I took my brown sugar mixture and I tossed each one of these individually in that when it was still hot. You want it to still be hot, otherwise the sugar won't adhere properly. But I'm actually very happy with how this came out. It looks really good. I mean, visually, compared to the Hostess one here, we got, I think, pretty close to what we got with the Hostess brand. So let's go ahead. Let me do a side-by-side real quick. See if this gives me the same kind of nostalgia feeling. So as you can see, I got sugar all around, right? So let's give it a shot. Wow. Wow. Okay. Obviously it's good. I took a second bite. I wasn't trying to do this. I was doing my best to try and recreate it and get as close to this as I could, but I personally think this is actually a lot better than that. Now, it is still hot, so I'm eating it warm, so everything's really falling apart and melting in your mouth, but taste-wise, pretty much spot on. I think what we'll have to do is kind of cut the ratios down on some of the ingredients, maybe by half, and then cook it at half, because as you can see, this obviously is significantly thicker than this. So I think if you cut the ratios down, you would be nailing that. But honestly, I wouldn't change anything because this is really, really good by itself. I highly recommend trying that out. So that'll do it for us. Obviously this was a fail, but it was a good fail because we made it better. So thanks for watching.